Good morning. I am back for Quarantine Quips week 2. I mentioned last week I'm going to be doing some unusual scriptures and with a lesson involved. And again, this morning's scripture is unusual. Probably most of you have not heard it before. It's 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 23 and 24. It's only two verses long. It says, "From there, Elisha went up to Bethel. As he was walking along the road, some boys came out of the town and jeered at him. 'Get out of here, Baldy,' they said. 'Get out of here, Baldy.' He turned around, looked at them, called down a curse on them in the name of the Lord. Then 2 bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys." Nothing like a good blood and guts story first thing on a Sunday morning. So there was a Sunday school teacher who was teaching this lesson to her class, as the story goes. And for once, she had everyone's complete attention. And she told them the part where 2 bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 boys. And she wasn't sure if she got her point across. So she asked, "What does this story teach us?" And a little girl raised her hand and says, "It teaches us how many boys 2 bears can eat." Yeah, it does. Well, that's the obvious lesson, but let's maybe look for the not so obvious lesson too. So let me give you first a little. I want to point out too that I did wear my bear shirt in honor of our story today, in case you were wondering what So a little background for our story. Elisha is probably a young prophet. He's probably only about 25 years old in this at the time of the story. And his best friend Elijah, who was also a prophet, had just been scooped up by God in a chariot and taken to heaven. And so Elisha is now on his own. And he's walking down this road by himself when suddenly appears this group of young men, but most likely between the ages of 12 and 30. We know that probably based on the Hebrew word that was originally used. And again, maybe about 50 of them. I mean, we know that the bears ate 42. You figure some of them had to probably get away. So they start taunting Elisha by calling him bald. Now, chances are he wasn't actually bald. I mean, he was only probably about 25. But as some of you know, male pattern baldness can strike early. But the truth is, he probably had on a headscarf, and they couldn't tell if he had hair or not. But at that time, young men who were bald often had leprosy. So in essence, they were saying, "What are you, sick in the head? Hey, Baldy, why did God take your friend to heaven and not you? You must not be that good of a prophet." I'm embellishing. I like to call it the New Jill version of scripture. Then we're told that Elisha cursed them. Again, I take liberties. I think it was something like, "God's going to protect me and God's going to take care of you while he's at it too." Cue the bears. So now we ask the question, what's this have to do with me? Because let's be honest, it's all about you. What's this have to do with me and everything that's happening right now? Well, I think it teaches us 2 things. First, be kind. Don't be like those young men. Last couple of years, it seems as if it's become commonplace to call people names, berate them, put them down when you don't agree with them. And what's the point? Do you really think that you're going to change someone by being hateful? Trust me, you're not. I love the phrase, "In a world where you can be anything, be kind." And the second thing we can learn from the bald and the bear story is that God will always be there for us. Now, I'm not saying if you love God, you're not going to get the coronavirus. Clearly. I'm saying if you do get the corona, God is going to be with you every step of the way. God is with you as you struggle with being isolated. God is with you as you struggle with not being able to see your loved ones right now. God is with you as you work and are out in the public and worry about what you may take home with you. So the lesson for today is be kind and know that God is always with you. I hope you have a great week.